With the recent release of The Strangers Chapter 1, we now have 3 Strangers films, and soon to be 4, and then soon to be 5. So let's take a look and rank all 3 of these films. But before I do, I just want to say one little announcement, and that is I am very sorry. Well, not really announcement. I'm very sorry for the lack of content. Something came up. We had a leaky pipe in our house. Something happened. Basically, my entire room has been glorifiedly destroyed. We'll just say that, and it's been taking up a bit of time. I'm lucky I'm getting this ranking out, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry for the lack of content. As soon as this thing gets fixed, which hopefully will happen soon, it should get fixed good. But also, if you guys love the content and want some more content, well, soon to be more content, then please check out my Patreon down below, as well as my links to Instagram and Letterboxd will be down there as well. And without further ado, let's jump into the ranking. And sadly, in last place is going to be The Strangers Chapter 1. And this is not like one of those horror franchises where it's like, okay, this one is probably the worst, but another day it could be another one. No, this is, of the 3, this is easily the worst of them. And it's not even a competition. This film I heard a lot of negative feedback on, but I was actually one of the few people looking forward to this, so I was like, it can't be that bad. People are probably being a little dramatic. I watched it, and this is probably one of the biggest disappointments of the year. I thought the trailer looked pretty cool. I had not seen the first one at the time. I had seen like a little bit of it, but I didn't know that it was basically. I didn't yet know that this film was basically just a copy and paste remake. It's basically just a copy and paste remake of the first film, which I cannot stand when a sequel does that. Frankly, I despise it. And so this film really annoyed me with what it did with that. So it's just a film that I don't like copy and paste remakes. Like, I used to like The Lion King from 2019. Not anymore. I do not like that film. I think that one is just a lifeless, soulless cash grab, and it made a lot of money, so it did earn its cash grab. And yeah, the characters, nothing to write home about, not very memorable, very shallow, very forgettable. Some of the weakest, probably the weakest protagonist of the entire franchise so far, and hopefully Chapter 2 and 3 are better, but something I need to address is that I cannot, for the life of me, even think about standing any time a character makes a dumb decision in a horror film. It's like, if it's earned, or if it's like one time, that's enough. They've had their limit with at least 2 times. And the Strangers technically trilogy at the moment, but the Strangers movies get on my nerves so much. I cannot stand it, because every film, there's just so many moronic decisions. Like, okay, let's do this thing that nobody in their entire lives would even think about doing. Just, it drives me up the wall. This one competes with the original for just dumbest character decisions, and I do not like that at all. So for me, pretty easily in last place is going to be The Strangers Chapter 1. Number 2 is going to be the original Strangers, and there's a big jump from number 3 to number 2. There's a massive jump. So The Strangers is a film where I respect the legacy of it for a lot of reasons. It does have a lot of things going for it. Unfortunately, I just think that it just doesn't really come all together for me. Again, I do not at all like the amount of just unbelievably dumb decisions made in this film. I hate it, and it really just destroys this film in certain regards for me. I can't stand it. Yeah, that's something that really drags the film down for me, but it has good things in it. It's just one where I feel like the legacy is more strong than the actual film, and the characters are, again, nothing to write home about. They're not really too good in certain regards, but they have their own stuff that they're memorable for. But and this is where The Strangers got started, so it did birth 3 horror icons. And even if The Man in the Mask is probably the most famous of them, but it is really cool. But definitely, it's a film that you could possibly consider it a classic. I don't know if I would go classic, but it is definitely a decent film. So while I do respect a lot of things about this film, and it is definitely a film that I can watch, it's not like one of my favorite. It's not one of my all-time favorite horror films. Neither is my number one, but if I'm gonna pick between which one I would rather rewatch, I'm more likely to rewatch my number one. But this is still a fairly solid little thriller. But for me, my number one is The Strangers Prey at Night, and one that it has a decent enough reputation, but it's not like one that I feel like a lot of people are like, oh man, this is like a horror classic. This changed the genre. It came out in 2018, so it's not really like a horror film could change the genre. A lot of people do like Hereditary, but still. This is a very solid little just horror movie, and it's much more into the slasher vein, which might be why I like it more. And because I'm much more, how do I say this, slasher educated. I'm much more into the slasher genre. I love things like Halloween and Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street. Much more just, those are like my favorite horror films. And this one, it kind of goes into more of that vein, and there's still dumb decisions in here. It is it's definitely toned down. It's definitely the smartest of them. So it's definitely the smartest of them, but it is one where I do think that it does still have flaws. It's definitely the one where they have the smartest characters while still making some very dumb decisions, which I don't like. And there's one thing that this is a bit spoilerific on, so I'm not gonna, there's a thing that happens to a few of the characters, specifically the strangers, that I'm very mixed on, because I don't know how they're gonna move forward if they ever decide to go away from the chapter ones because of, how should I say, the chapter one sucked, but all I can say is just I don't really know if this is something you can sequelify with what they did. So while this is definitely a film that I do have problems with, it is definitely a film that is not flawless. It is a film that I have fun with. I can enjoy the carnage candy that you get, and it also, I think it has our most likable leads in it with we get Bob from Top Gun Maverick, yes! Anyway, yeah, I had to bring that up, guys. And we get a girl that is kind of at odds, kind of with her mother and father, because she's being sent off to, I think, boarding school. So you kind of connect with her because she's having a hard time, and I feel like it gives us the most likable leads. Meanwhile, in the original and in chapter one especially, they're very hollow ones that you don't really give a care about at all. So for me, it has the most likable leads. The carnage candy's awesome, and just more up my alley. So for me, my number one is going to be The Strangers Prey at Night. There you guys have it. That's my ranking of all three at the moment Strangers films. We are going to be getting Chapter 2 very soon and Chapter 3 very soon. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if the very, very not very good reception to the first chapter will make them reconsider some stuff. But I don't know. All I can say is, considering Chapter 1 was directed by Rennie Harlan, Die Hard 2 guy, cliffhanger guy, it was a very big disappointment. But I will definitely say I enjoy my number 1 and number 2. I thoroughly enjoy those two, even if, again, stupid as heck characters. Yeah, pet peeve of mine. Sorry, but anyway. Be sure to let me know what is your ranking of all three down in the comments below. Did you love The Strangers Chapter 1? Please explain. Please explain why you loved it if you did. But what is your ranking of all of them? I would love to have a conversation about it down below with all you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and like I said, if you guys want to see more from me, I will be putting stuff on my Patreon page very soon, so you guys will be able to support me on there if you love this content. You guys also have links to Letterboxd and Instagram down there if you guys want to do things like interview me, or just you have questions for me that you've never been able to ask before that you want to ask me. Feel free to just DM me there. I am very active on there, so thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you are not already, and have a good one.